Well, good evening, everybody. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties right now.
Did you hit
Oh,
the?
there we go. No, we're good.
Oh, there we
I just
go.
had to hit. I had to hit refresh 13 times versus 12.
Okay.
But anyway, well, welcome back to another episode. You got myself. You got Mr. Eagle himself over there. Fly, Eagles fly. Then you've got Arnie down there in the cut.
Congrats,
So
Mike.
how was the Super Bowl for you, gentlemen? Mike,
it was
your
great.
outfit speaks volumes.
Yeah, you don't need to say anything.
Great. I mean, the game itself wasn't that great. I mean, but for me, I honestly thought Kansas City was going to win the game before the game started.
When did you feel? When did you feel okay though? Like legitimately?
When the clock went to zero.
Yeah.
No, actually, after the first half, I felt good about it, but there's still a second half. And even when they were up by 3 scores with I guess it was going into the fourth quarter, I still wasn't. I was just nervous that you got Mahomes, you got Kelsey,
right.
They can come back. All it takes is a turnover, and it could shift the momentum at any time.
Yeah.
And then when they douse Sirianni with 4 minutes left in the game, I'm like, what are you doing? Don't give him the Gatorade bath yet. It's not over.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was an okay game. It wasn't the most exciting to watch.
I agree.
Because I don't think no one expected them to play that bad. But hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's fun, and
I mean, I had to watch it because that's the only way I was going to get Monday off.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for the congratulations. I appreciate it.
It was awesome. So
I'm just on a high right now. So
there you go. So let's do a quick roll call. We got White Sox Tom. He's been on a hot streak, always the first one in.
There you
go. We got Maddie. And we got a newcomer here, the Bunny fan. Glad you can make it. He did say that he has to go to school, but he'll be watching us right after class. So
that's
appreciate that. Got Jason from Canadian Car Breakers, Adam, and we got Xavier in the house. And we have Box Score Collectibles. Appreciate everybody showing up. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of different topics to go over. I mean, it's a little bit less than average. However, we are going to be placing a little bit of emphasis on a lot of stuff. So the first thing we're actually going to be covering, there's no new upcoming releases that are showing up with the exception of what both Arnie and I covered last Monday, okay, which was the Diamond Icons, the 3 and 2, the Top Series 1. All right, so just keep that in the back of your head. So we're just going to jump straight into Series 1 and give our thoughts on it, even though despite the fact that it does release in 2 days, there's been people that's been cracking into it already, so I mean, so we've got more doses of that product actually being released. Have y'all noticed anything different
in terms of what we were expecting to come out?
No, because I know the first video that I've seen with that product being opened were blasters. And the blasters were straight trash.
Yeah, blasters retail is not good. Fat packs seem to be okay from Striker's Breakdown, and hangers are the way to go if you're going to open up retail.
Yeah, in terms of pre early stated odds with everything, I just want to see a case break of something.
Exactly.
And then I'll comment because until then, here I think it was Step in the Box did a 4 box or a 10 box. He did a 10 box blaster break and only got 2 numbered cards.
Mm-hmm.
I did 2 of my first 4 boxes, and I got an HFA, 2 golds, a bunch of parallels, a bunch of inserts. Yeah, out of 4 boxes, it was loaded, and it was I just got the lucky boxes, and I also didn't get overexcited. So it's like tame your expectations on a small sample size, whether it be a good result or a bad result.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of what the sheet says that Striker puts out or Topps puts out, watch the case breaks. Just give it about 2 or 3 days, and they'll start popping up all over YouTube. And then use your judgment based on that.
Well, since you brought up that video that Striker normally does with a flagship set, just like years past, it seems like the hanger is the way to go.
For retail anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, you're
Well,
you're
dollar
not
per card
guaranteed an
at
autograph.
least.
What's that?
Dollar per card at least.
Oh, dollar per card, absolutely. Those in the fat packs, I think, are right around the same price for dollar per card for your base card. But there's so many different inserts for retail and for hobby and jumbo this year that a lot of the lines were blacked out. It's like, well, you can't get this in retail. You can only get this in hobby. You can't get this in hobby. You can only get it in retail. There's a lot of different parallels that are coming out too. Narrowing down the checklist of parallels, which I think is good, and I think the most of them are I think the 299 is like the highest number of parallels that they have, cards out of 299, and of course you still have your golds, which are going to be the 2025.
Right.
But yeah, like Arnie said, I think you really have to take a look at a full case. I mean, it's like Brent could have just gotten 10 duds, and Arnie could have gotten two of the
ones.
Two of the other blasters that had stuff in it. So look at the case breaks and see when it comes out. I'm really looking forward to that to see what comes out of a full case.
Yeah, and your goal too with your stating cards. What are you going for? Are you going to try to hit this parallel because you like the color and it's retail only, but it's blaster exclusive versus hanger exclusive? Or are you doing this because you can get the most base cards, so I'm going to go this route to try to get the set, and then after that, I'm going to go attack singles online. Whatever the case may be, you have to factor in everything when you're spending your money. It's just a good idea.
Okay. Well, we do have some numbers regarding flagship, and I'm keeping it as that because I kind of mentioned it in the past. There's a certain user of Twitter who goes above and beyond to post print runs of all the sets that are coming out, and then depending on what that product is, he'll go back a few years and do a comparison of each. But the first one we're going to go ahead and go over is 2025 Series 1. So we're looking at 1.1 million for the base set. And I don't know why I did that. Okay. So 1.1 just for the base set of each player in a 350 card set. Okay. Then you got all the inserts, which seems like a lot, if you ask me. Then this is the tins. All right, you got your holiday tin, your team color border, so on and so forth. We're going to keep going. Your insert sets for the base. I mean, 83,000 for each card in a 12 card set. It's a bit much.
Well, compared to, it's under 10% of the million. It's like 7.5% roughly, based on the 1.2 or 1.1 million cards. Now, I mean, I guess people see that number, and it is a lot when you hear 1 point something million. That's a lot of base cards, but this is what flagship is.
I do like the design of the Stars of MLB this year, but I'll be sick of it after about a week.
I think we all will be.
Yeah, that right there is a good indication. That list where it says show more, 2023 1.274, and it looks like the number's lower.
This is all Series 1 over the years. So 2017, you're looking at 266,000. Went up a little bit, drops, doubles, goes up a bit, 1.2 million 2 years ago. Then it dropped significantly, and here we go right back up again.
Yeah, it increased 4 times in 3 years.
Yeah.
I guess it's
yeah, Adam, agreed.
Yeah,
but
you can't see, the thing is you can't cut that down in relation to the way the number cards are structured now. So you got to remember that at 2021 or 22, we started seeing the green, the red, once those cracked ice. I think it was 2022 was the first year. Those cards, once you insert those cards in there, it changes. The thing is you have to add more base, and that's just how it goes. Go ahead with your rest of your parallels there.
No, so Xavier was asking about the print run for the golden mirrors. So basically, the golden mirrors, okay, for a 350 card set, you're looking at 141 per.
It's tough. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are some really short print cards. That's good for people that
is good.
Short prints. So yeah, good question there, Xavier. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. So like again, it has its perks. It's flagship. You know what you're getting yourself into. I'm not too high. I'm not too down. It's just
it's flagship.
I'm gonna enjoy it, and I like the design. That's it. So I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna enjoy whatever I afford to buy, and leave it at that.
And we actually had a discussion about this last week. You know, let's.
I'm gonna step out for 1 minute,
a little
guys.
bit on the parallel runs. You know, do you really have to have the 64 count of Crayola in parallels?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? They got rid of the black to 10, but replaced it with the black foil.
Yeah, the black to 50. Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, and I know a lot of this stuff are exclusive to each of the formats. Like, you know, you'll get exclusive A in hangers, exclusive B in blasters, so on and so forth. So I mean, I guess it all depends on what you're looking for out of Series 1. Are you looking to build a set of just the base? Then by all means, with 1.1 million cards, there should be no reason why you can't do that. That's just my take on it. You know, what is everybody's thoughts about the overall print run? I mean, we get it. Traditionally, Series 1 tends to be the set of the entire series that's overly produced. Series 2, not so much. Update is kind of like in between, unless I got that mixed up somehow.
I think updates printed a little bit lower than Series 2.
Okay.
Yeah, you just had it flip-flopped a little bit. But I'm trying to think for this year, and Xavier, you know, put it right there, like Mayo, Rice, Cruz, and James Woods are the big rookies right now. I think it's really overproduced for the amount of rookies in there. I think this is a set that I believe usually sets go up in price, or prices go up in price. You'll see a little bit of a spike after it releases, but I really think this set is going to fall.
Because I mean, who was the chaser in 22 Series 1 besides Wander?
Well,
there was nobody.
Let me go back. Let me add up 23, if you guys don't mind, and add 23. So the reason I bring this up is because I personally think 2023 Series 2 is much better rookie class. 2023 Series 1 is more expensive, and all it has is Adley and Gunnar. So you got one guy carrying the product. Adley's fallen off a little bit in terms of resale and price and certain cards and his autos, but you have Gunnar. So one guy is kind of carrying that product right now, whereas 2023 Series 2, which is printed less, is actually cheaper right now. So we're almost a year and a half removed from that release, and it's completely different. It's the exact opposite. So could this one still go down? Yeah, 100%. But we've seen where one player can carry a product, whether it be pick any name, you know, insert any list or set, like you guys mentioned, 21. I just find, because I've been looking at the prices, you know, looking at cases, looking at boxes and jumbo and retail, and it's crazy to me that 23 Series 1 is still more expensive than 23 Series 2. I haven't gotten into 24 Series 1, 2, and update comparisons because it's too new still. It hasn't had a chance to drop or a chance to kind of carry the weight with update and all the good rookies. But Series 2 also has J-Dom, Ellie, and...
So then with that logic, Wander should have been the one to carry Series 1 in 22. Now that he's not...
Sure, he was with O'Neal Cruz. Yeah, him and Cruz were in that, and they were the guys.
Now that he's not, you know, sought after, that the price point for that particular set should have tanked.
It should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is still more affordable. I'm just trying to compare. Okay, now what do I compare that to? You really can't take away that player and say, all right, let's say Adley doesn't work out. You still have Gunnar in there carrying that product, which Gunnar is the better player right now. So it's hard for me to take out the Wander conversation and say, okay, now what else is better that we compare the prices to? So it's 22 Series 1, 2, an update. We all know about it, 22 update. Let's just say Quan falls off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say Julio falls off or Bobby falls off, and then Julio takes off. All it takes is one player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've seen. And that's good for people that store wax and resell and open. But if you want to open it today, you're going to pay a premium. And is the juice worth the squeeze type of deal? You know, it's a $20 box. Is it worth $40 now? It's a $100 hobby. Is it worth $200 now?
So Artie is asking, why do they progressively drop the print run through the year instead of printing all pretty much consistently like update?
We'll let Arnie answer that one.
So
I have my reasons, but I want to hear Arnie's first.
Well, what I do know is that update is usually considerably less because that's where all the that's where all the prospects get called up after the cutoff date and get printed. Series 2 is going to be printed probably next week. They're probably printing Series 2 as we talk right now. Series 2 is already done. We just haven't seen the designs. We haven't seen any of it rolled out. Now, is update still in the works? Yes. But I believe Series 2 is probably pretty close to being done.
Well, my thought is why Series 1 is so overly printed compared to the other two is because everybody's eager for baseball and they're going to sell a lot of it. And this is like, spring training starts. It's
tradition. Series 1 is tradition.
It's always been a tradition.
I'm excited. Baseball's around the corner.
So excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I mean, Enfuego's got warmer weather, which some people in the chat probably do too. But hey, it's freezing out there today. And another 20, 30 days, it's going to be a little bit warmer. Then it's going to be like, boom, here comes summer.
And trees start to come in bloom, flowers pop up, and it's ready for baseball.
You got the windows open. It's lighter out. Later in the day, you're not coming home, leaving for work in the morning. It's dark out. Come home, it's dark. It's like you're just in a better mood, in general.
I'm always in a good mood.
Well, yeah, it's because you got the sun shining on your feet 24/7 over there.
Hey, it was only 82 today.
I was talking to my wife, and I said, baseball's coming up. I got a game on practically every night. It's not like football where you have one day. Where you're waiting for that Sunday or Monday for your team to play. Sure. It's on every night.
Yeah, and I think it's always been tradition to kind of kick the season off in terms of collecting.
Yeah.
And I think I've said many times with people that do grade, a lot of people do this. I do grade cards with the intent of, hey, let's see who's going to break out this year and then try to get some good cards before they get too expensive. Or maybe try to get lucky on some players that you want to sell. Hey, I'm going to grade these and see if this guy breaks out this year. And then you get some trade bait. So there's that too. There's a lot of different elements to it, but I do like the fact that it just represents.
Yeah, it makes sense. So along with the print run, they are bringing back some stuff. They added some new stuff to the series. Like, for example, this debuted last year. They do the autograph memorabilia redemptions. They're bringing that back, and it's blaster box exclusive, which is awesome.
That's the Fanatics, yeah.
Okay, so here's what you got. That's the checklist for it. Pretty good. Baseballs, bats, batting helmets, jerseys, a photo. So, if you're into that kind of thing, by all means, knock yourself out.
Are they up on Fanatics site now? Have they released yet? They were delayed a little bit.
They should be up now because according to this, ahead of next week's Series 1, the $30 boxes of exclusive website, you'll find them on there.
Okay.
So, but now
did they change the parallels? I don't think they're aqua anymore. Are they back to yellow in there?
No, it should be the aquas.
It should be. I thought I saw Stryker say something that they changed the parallels in there.
They probably did.
Hang on. I don't know why they would change that. but who knows?
So
I don't know. I thought they would have kept it the same.
The odds of pulling one of those redemptions now are 1 in 261.
It's
I've
not
never
too
seen one.
bad.
I've never seen one
for a bonus.
Yeah. With one hollow base parallel per box. I'm trying to see if they actually. Oh, they're bringing out the super boxes again. Yippee! So, okay. Now, one thing that did catch. Well, I'm not going to say it caught my attention. All right, because it was actually thrown at me, and I'm not going to mention Arnie, but this is a new thing that I initially, when he brought it up to me, I had mixed feelings about, but now I'm convinced I don't like it. Okay,
Yeah,
so basically, this is going to be a new number variations that are limited to the player's jersey. Now, I do have the checklist of that jersey here. Here's the list of names. Okay, pretty much 95% of this checklist are all big names. Ohtani, Kobe Mayo, Christian Yelich, Gunnar, Cruz, and you see what they're limited to. Now, my biggest gripe of this whole thing, and I guess Arnie had mentioned one thing. Mike was telling me I was thinking too much into it, and I could be. Suppose we pulled that Gunnar Henderson 2 of 2. Is that technically a 1 of 1?
It's 1 of 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, both of them, it'll be 1 of 2, 2 of 2. So then if you pull the 2 of 2, is that really a 1 of 1?
No, that's something that people made up on eBay, though. The bookend, the solid number, it's out of 50, it's 50-50. It's just second best to the 1 of 1.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, Xavier. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I will say, and it makes sense to me, that the higher the jersey number, the more common, and the odds will be in your favor of actually pulling one. So with Judge,
yeah,
numbered to
so
99.
Someone's going to have to do that math on those cards too, and figure out the odd rate with all those different parallels. It reminds me of like looking at a Panini checklist with those oddball numbers out of 48, and
it's. I mean, I would love to pull.
Hey, yeah, exactly. If you get one, great.
No, I'm seriously. Let me see here. Odds. Let me see if they actually have the odds out. I don't think they do. 2025. Oh, okay.
There you go. Oh boy, that's right. You got to go through like 15 pages of odds. Good luck. This might take the rest of the show. I wish you could search the item in there.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. All right, so call to the hall. City Connect. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find that damn thing.
Yeah. Put that on the back burner. We'll bring it up next week.
Yeah, definitely.
It's insane trying to figure out all those parallels. It's like you get a brain overload.
Xavier says he wished Topps would bring back the custom card maker. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when Topps was taken over by Fanatics, I think they put a little disclosure in there saying we're making it better. Well, it's been 2 years and you haven't done anything.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's basically all kicking of this Series 1 horse that I want to do, because I mean, we've seen what it what it has to offer. They're giving us an idea of what's new and all this other good stuff. Now it's just a matter of getting your actual hands on it, and then you can make your own assessment, because everybody has their own opinion about something, kind of like what we were saying earlier when Step in the Box did 2 lives breaking, I think, a group, basically in groups of 10 he came up with caca.
Yeah.
But yet, when Arnie did it, he came up with half a caca load. So I mean, we'll see how that works out. But
I want to see the hangers. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
If they're going to stay true to form.
So PSA came up with some shenanigans recently, and had nobody would have said anything, they would have never made anything mention. So they changed up their grading standards, and this is the message that they put out. Okay. So as Arnie, you being the resident grader, and I dub you that because you probably do more grading than all of us combined.
Sure. Yeah, I grade a lot. I have in the past too.
How far back, based off your recent memory, have you heard that 60-40 was the norm?
It's always been that way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So apparently, in their verbiage earlier, they did have 55-45 to 60-40 on the front with 75-25 on the back.
Okay. So I'll say this. I think people, before we get any further, when you read how, and your other point will make sense in how they release the information, but if you don't mind putting that back up there, just so I can point something out. Having said it, this has long been the ideal centering threshold. So what they're saying is centering threshold, that's the maximum, okay, to achieve a PSA 10 grade. Though 60-40 was denoted to factor in that, regardless of that number, the key word here is at the grader's sole discretion, a small variance may be permitted on occasion based on the card's overall eye appeal. What that means is meeting all the other parameters, sharp edges, sharp corners, good top to bottom centering, whether we're talking about top to bottom, left to right, whatever the 60-40 category you're thinking of. I don't see it being that much of an issue because people say, well, that's a nice card. It's well centered and it's a PSA 10, but it's got a little nick on the corner. But all the other parameters of the card helped it get that 10. It's no different than the card that's 60-40. Mm-hmm. That has nothing wrong with the edges, the corners, the surface. It's beautiful, but it's so nice that even the centering still gave it a 10. So these are all at the discretion of the grader. It's no different than the vintage side when you get an 8 and an 8.5. So people don't like half grades, but it's up to the grader that can give those out. Go back to vintage in the PSA 4. People think, oh, once I get to a 4, I'm out of the weeds with a crease or a wrinkle. That's not the case. You can buy a vintage card that's a 4 and it can have a crease or a wrinkle, but the rest of the card has all those similar parameters that are helping it stay a 4 with the crease. Because right away, if you hear crease, you go, you're getting a 3 or lower. That's usually been the norm. It's one of those, oh, that's 70-30. That's never going to get a 10. Oh, that's 60-40. It's got a shot. Right. It has a shot, but you have to remember, these were all discretionary things by each individual grader.
Okay.
So I think we have to tread lightly when we're talking about now how they presented this information and how they made the change. 100% post it. Don't let someone find out about it and be the public to find out about it and post. 100% wrong. They went about it the wrong way. But what it is and what information's out there, you just have to slow down a little bit and read that whole entire paragraph there because.
Okay. So, and you made some good points, But
I'm not defending them because believe me,
no, we know
critical when critical. You know what I'm saying?
No, we know how you are, but the only issue that I'm seeing here is they're only focusing on the centering aspect of the change in verbiage in their grading standards. Now,
yeah,
I just dropped a video in the chat. Okay, the guy, I just ran into him today. His channel name is Retro Hoops Collectibles. And this video that I just posted, it goes into detail about, I guess it was either him or somebody that he saw who had a conversation with Nat Turner, who happens to be the pres of PSA. And then the question was asked about, has their grading standards changed? Nat Turner quickly was like, no, it's not. Okay. But then something along the lines of that conversation where the 55-45 standard was mentioned. So then the person asking those questions came up with the whole, so where did this 60-40 come in? And then Nat Turner's reply was, well, we've been grading at 55-45 since the beginning of time, which led to speculation that, okay, you have 60-40 in your grading standards. However, you're grading at a 55-45 standard. So basically, you're lying. Either you're lying or the person who posted those grading standards, okay, is sending out misinformation. Which one is it?
Yeah, how they presented the information was not good. Not a good look at all.
That's one video that I'm gonna post. The next one, and I'm doing this in reverse order. I got this one from Neo Cards and Collects, okay, because he's the one that actually brought it up and caught my eye the first time. And he actually did a update to that video today. And what he actually got a third party involved in it also. And I'm going to pull that up as well. But basically, all this could have been alleviated if there was transparency in the change. Okay. And what I mean by that is that third party that they got involved, let me pull them up, happens to be gem rate. Okay. So with gem rate, it's not doing it the way I wanted. Okay. Anyway, so this is PSA gem rate by era by month. I know it's going to be a little hard to see, but basically each color represents an era. So the top one is 2020s, 2010s. This black line is in total. Now, it's not specified by individual sport. They're categorizing all sports in general. Now, the way you're going to read this is from right to left, with at the bottom, gem rate was only able to pull info dated back to February 2021. So if you notice, and how Neo explained it, from February 2021, you will almost instantly start seeing the dip. And that was the backlog era where you had to wait the 12 months, the 13 months, and at one point they shut down just to try to catch up, whether it be because they had too many cards to handle, not enough graders, or they were training new graders. But then you noticed around August to September of 21, you see a pattern of it actually going back up. And initially they started at a 43.3% gem rate. Then it dipped down as low as 27. So that leads me to believe that was the point where they actually had to shut down just to play catch up. Once they started opening back up, then you start seeing the spike. It went from 27 to 35.5 to 40 to 42. But then, now mind you, according to Nat's statement, they were running off the 55-45 centering aspect of it. You see the consistency with all the errors jumping and dipping as you see fit, but it remained consistent roughly in the middle of the year in 2023. But then it starts tapering off summer to fall in 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the older cards actually taking a spike. You'll see the distinct spikes and dips versus, the 2000s.
Does it have to do with the specials on some of those? Could those play a factor in?
Yeah, that could play a factor. This is just gem rate in general. How many 10s are being pumped out by PSA?
Yeah, and if they're adding the special, people are going to put more cards in there, so there may be more cards that gem.
And also, when you go to basketball, if you're looking at by category, of course, with the Victor Wembanyama craze, you'll have that spike.
Basically, what I'm wrapping my head around is the fact that we as collectors were under the impression that we can get a gem at a 60-40, but that wasn't the case. Okay. Verbiage is saying graders discretion. Nat Turner is saying, nope, we've been consistent with the 55-45. So you see the similar yet inconsistent variables in this 4-year span. Now, here's SGC.
But back to that. Now you're starting to see the gem rates go down. Why do you believe they're going down now?
At that point, that's basically according as I interpreted it, spring of 2022 was the year that grading has the consistency has finally settled in. So they came up with a consensus on what method they're going to use to grade and stuck with it.
Yeah, but I'm looking for, if I can see the bottom there. It looks like it's like spring of last year, 2024 to now. It's on a consistent dive down.
You're not talking about on this side, right?
No. I'm talking
so over here.
Over here, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're going right to left, correct?
Yes.
So February 2025 is furthest left.
Okay. And and I try to take notes as best as I can. So in 2024, around the spring to summer, the rate of submissions actually increased.
Okay.
Okay. And then for October and November, you see the dip.
Right.
And that's probably because now I guess they're giving more leeway for the individual grader to make that conscious decision if it's going to gem or not.
I just think
that's
there's
the
not
only thing
enough.
I could think of.
Yeah. And again, I think we're just trying to find an answer to something that really doesn't have an answer. There's just too many variables right now.
But the thing is, though, Tom, is SGC is not too far behind. This is SGC's gem rate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, with that said, okay, I did pull up their grading standards. And if you look for the 10s, 55 or 40, 55, 45 or better centering. So this has never changed. But yet,
maybe as a company, they're trying to align that.
I think PSA is trying to align with SGC.
Yeah, being the parent company of it. Yeah.
You know, I mean, but yet everybody was under this impression that PSA was the harder grader.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Even with that being said, I'll say this. The videos that people put out, because you guys know how I am. I lose my, you know what, on my own channel. And that's just me.
Right.
If you're going to say something, just the first question is how, where, post the link.
Yeah, have the data to back up your statement.
Have something. These are all great opinions because there's no clear-cut answer on this one, right? We're looking at the third-party company that's providing the data. And after that, the hardest part of this whole hobby is that when you show a card and you do a reveal and you go, oh my God, this got an 8? Are you kidding me?
Right.
And then you realize that this is a pop 2 and there's no 9s and no 10s. There's only 2 8s in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Kenny Lofton. No one cares about it, but I do. But
right.
Now you grade this card and find one and you get a 9, name your price. Yeah. You're going to have an idiot like me and one other guy probably bidding on each other to try to get it, right? But what I'm getting at is that a lot of people will show these cards and they go, how did this get X? All that does is create a waste of time for the viewers because it's going to get you nowhere. And it takes you down this rabbit hole where unless you see the card in hand or you know how the grading standards have been, or you follow this whole thing from start to finish, you're just wasting time, in my opinion. I'm just trying to stay away from the questionable cards. Just send in good cards. Now, if you're sending in good cards and you're constantly getting horrible grades and stuff that's coming back a 9 that you thought was going to be a 10, we're not talking about a 1 grade difference here. We're not talking about cards that are just questionable. We're talking about the cards that come back a 5
Right.
When you thought it was going to be a vintage 8 or a 7 comes back a 4 and you miss something. And then you start doing that with the card and you post a picture and then it gets a lot of people worked up and you start to go down a path with no data behind it. And that's just where I'm trying to stay away from. So I do like this gem rate. I like the total overall numbers, but at the end of the day, none of this affects how I grade cards. I grade who I'm wanting to grade and sell, trade, or collect. And that's about it. It kind of stops there for me. So I'm fine if I get a bad grade on a card that I thought was a little bit better, because if I'm really that upset, stop using them or grade it again, or just be happy with the card and live with it. I think we put too much into it, you know, when we're really like breaking it down like card by card.
Right.
You know, a guy shows a card, but he doesn't also say that he got 20 out of 24 10s and he's just mad about one card. Right. We don't know the whole story all the time. And that's where I'm trying to.
And that's the perfect example, because since I started sending stuff on my own, okay, the very first submission I sent, it was completed in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 20 card submission. 18 of those 20 cards actually gemmed. Now,
and that's, you were on the fence because you used to have Adrian help you, and look how good you did.
Yes.
So you have a good eye.
But now here's the thing, okay, and I'm not gonna throw a spoiler out there. I just received grades for an order that is currently at PSA right now.
Okay.
And that gem turnover rate is completely reversed.
Now, with that being said, before you get in any details, because I'm sure we'll watch the video, we're right now on the topic is we're comparing your first order where you did 90-ish%. You had a really good gem rate, 20 out of 20x, whatever it was. What cards were those? What era were those? Were those pack pulled? Were those cards you acquired? Were those cards that you got into a break? What were the is it paper stock? Is it chrome stock? Is it numbered stuff? Is it relics?
So
patches?
ultimately, off the bat, they're all ultra modern.
Okay. So apples to apples. Now, I guess then we're going to talk about card type. We're going to talk about chrome stock.
It was a variety of paper to chrome to parallel-ish type stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a nice little mix, but
good. It's just good to get a fair comparison is what I'm trying to say.
Remain consistent.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
I got you.
To me, it really doesn't make sense that you do send something, for example, you send something from 2023, it comes back a damn 5.
Yeah, and then you got to look hard at the card. And then if you posted that because you're upset, your emotional attachment is, hey, I love this card, I'm really pissed off, and you're like, you throw that out there in the center of the table and you go, make it make sense across the top of the photo, right?
Yeah.
And then you just let it fly, and then bam, there goes the internet, and everybody gets on their phone and goes feeding into this. But it's like, wait a minute, guys, just slow it down. You know, there's
that is the kind of trick that you said, you know, you want clicks and views. That's the route to go.
Oh, no.
But not everybody takes that route.
I'm with you on that. But I think I'm just talking in grading in general, because regardless what your reasoning of posting something on socials is for, I'm looking at it from the collector point of view, whether I'm selling that card, trading that card, or I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
That's what we got to look at.
And I think the whole reasoning behind this topic of grading specificities when Neo posted it revolved around the fact of flippers.
Okay? Yeah, and here's the thing.
He made no mention of pure collectors. He made no mention of anybody else but those wanting to get cards graded just to flip.
Here's another thing. Now let's take this a different direction.
Okay.
Here's a good point right here. I was just about to say something. Big John Collector's Cards. He says, I think PSA has been grading harder since last quarter of 24. Orlando may have a different opinion, and anyone else that's listening will have a different opinion. That's what's great about this.
Because we got the data.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing with that. We don't know what those cards are right there. We don't know. Jeff made a mention earlier. It also depends on the type of quality of the product. Yeah. If a month going by is the hottest product and we're pulling 2022 Chrome Update, Bobby and Julio, Quan, all those guys. Yeah, I threw Quan in there. All those guys, that product was horrible. The QC on that product is horrible. When you look back at some of the vintage stuff where Dale Mitchell for the Cleveland Indians, I believe, was on a corner of a sheet in 1956 Topps. Once you get that card in a PSA 7 above the 6th grade, that card goes up like 4 or 5x. You go to an 8 and 9, you're looking at 20 to 100x because the card is so tough to get in a high grade that if this was 1958 and we're chatting about these cards, you could remember 2 years ago, oh yeah, that Dale Mitchell, I tried to get a PSA 10, never got one. I wanted a 10 for the whole set in my Cleveland run, never got it. But if you know the set, you know the sheet, you know how the stuff has been made, it offers some additional data that makes sense where people see something and freak out for no reason because, quite frankly, they just don't have the information or they're just too lazy to dive deeper. They just rather just vent online about something. And a lot of times it's not the case. You know, everybody had bad stuff in 22 Chrome Update. Look at the purples from 22 Heritage. You know, look at this. Tell me how many Bobbies are out there. 3. Yeah. How many Julios are out there? Like 20? Like there's not a lot of cards, but that's a 2-year-old set. And if you know the product, you realize that there's more to this data than just charts and graphs of a subcategory. So just, I don't know, just don't be afraid to dive into something. I
mean, all valid points, you know, again.
I think it makes it fun. I think it makes it fun because what if everything was boring and everything was a 9 or a 10? Would we still collect the way we do?
That's a good point there, Orlando. I mean,
yeah, and he knows. Yeah, Orlando knows.
You strike gold if you can find a vintage card that is
notoriously
as close to perfectly centered as possible.
Yeah, so, there's many cases of that. But yeah, would you change the way you collect, Mike? Look at Mike. Mike is out there finding deals on cards under $20 shipped to the house for a PSA 10. Like you can't buy that card, grade that card, hope to get a 10, and then
for that price. No,
well, Mike has that black market eBay account.
Yeah, I do. It's on the dark web.
Yeah,
I find it. No, I'll just take a look for a certain player and go into an auction. And I'll put my max bid in there. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I'll go to the next listing. You know?
And it's all a fetish thing too. I mean, because I don't know of one person who does not want a card of their liking at a gem rate.
Yeah. Listen, again, I think that's why I brought up that Kenny Lofton because it's known with research. It's known that let me look into the PSA. Guys, if you have any questions about how to find a pop count of a card, whatever card you're looking at, you're interested in, just find one on eBay. It doesn't matter the grade. Simply type in the cert number, and then it'll pull up all the grades of that category for that card, whether it's
that's where the whole PSA authentic eBay thing comes together.
And I'll tell you what, that's one of the best features that we've seen.
Agreed.
But what's nice about it is what happens to 9s? What happens to 9s tomorrow? Do we start going after 9s now? Are 9s going to be cheaper?
Okay,
yeah, so I'll touch on that too, where I keep hearing this term "ruin the hobby." Nothing against Beast because I love Beast. Nothing wrong, nothing against him personally. He's saying something that I see all the time. It's breakers like you. It's this. It's that. It's ruin the hobby. I'm not letting that bother me anymore. I don't care what anyone does. I'm having fun with the hobby. Whether I turn this microphone off, I'm still collecting. I'm surrounded by my cards when I have time to play with cards and get away from work and escape real life nonsense and just kind of enjoy what I'm doing. I think that's we're always so critical of everybody else. We're too critical of like what other people collect and how they collect it. Oh, you got a PSA 6. Why are you grading that? That sucks. No, actually it doesn't because you don't know the reason and it's none of your business. Like just enjoy it, right? Enjoy the cards.
There you go.
Exactly. B says it's a choice. Yeah, it's a choice.
Yep. So, I mean, well, speaking of grading, I know we're 10 days into the month already, but the grading specials for PSA this month are really not that special.
Okay.
So you're looking at the express service grading. Original price is $150 per card with a max insured value of $2,500, 5 business days. That's the only thing that they actually have out there. Everything else is caca.
That's a special?
That's a special.
Wow.
They knock off $50.
Man, you better have a card that if it gems, it's going to be worth that $2,500.
Yeah.
Can I say why I'm okay with this right now?
Sure.
They announced that they were backlogged. I like this. That's great. We don't need a special. We need to get caught up with some orders. 4 months, 2 months, 3 months sitting at the dot, like not even in the registered, like in the grade stage 2, 3, or 4. It's like received and that's it. Hasn't even been cataloged. 2 months.
Well,
3 months.
I really wouldn't say they're backlogged, Arnie. Again, because
they're one department. They did say they were.
This last order that I sent out, it was received on the 29th of January, and my grades popped today.
And I would also like to see them change. If you put 5 orders in, your 5th order does not get touched. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order of submission date, receive date, and you start there.
Okay.
From someone that grades a lot of different orders and sends a bunch of stuff in. It's
all right. Well, that's pretty much all with the grading and PSA and all that. Moral of the story is, if you continue to grade and you are not sensitive on the return with the grades, keep doing what you do.
Yep.
So,
and there's nothing wrong with taking a break or grading with someone else. Hey, listen, if you're not happy, here's one thing I always wondered about PSA or SGC or any grading company. If you're not happy, what do you need to tell everybody about it for? Just stop using them. Use someone else. Just collect a different way. You don't have any money? Trade. Do something. Like just change gears. Just change something and try to find something that makes you happy. That's it.
There you go.
Now listen, if you get a PSA 4 and it should be a 10, vent
then
away.
You have an argument. But
yeah, but is it
is
it something you missed? Is it something they caught and you didn't?
Because I mean, do you really want to put yourself in the okay? If you sent out an order to PSA, Arnie, and you've looked at them 2 times, 3 times over, and there's a particular card in there, you know without a shadow of a doubt it's going to gem at a 10.
Okay.
It comes back as a 6. But you look over the card thoroughly, you still don't see nothing wrong with it. Are you going to run the risk and paying another 20-something bucks or whatever card value it is to have it regraded again?
I guess here's how I look at that. You do have that choice, right? You have that risk going in also. Let's step back the other way. You knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew there's a possibility of you not getting what you want. And that possibility is if you're looking to sell and you grade this card and it sells for $20 and a 9, but it sells for 60 and a 10, you now have an inherent risk of this, X and Y, 20 and 60 minus your cost. 9 is my break-even point. Then you grab a card where you're like, okay, I'm going to send this Ichiro in because it's hot right now. It's a chrome card, should grade pretty decently. He just got in the Hall of Fame. Everybody loves Ichiro, but the reality is, if I get a 7, I'm still doing good. If I get an 8, I'm doing better. If I get a 9, I'm doing better. If I get a 10, I'm ecstatic. So you just have to run the risk options before you send. Is really all it boils down to. Is no one posts anything like, oh my God, I got 17 out of 22 cards came back at 10. I'm excited. Nobody posts that because nobody wants to hear that. So take that same approach with the next level. If you do get a card that's not up to par, okay, well, what are your options? Instead of bitching on the internet, you snap it out, send it to someone else, send it back to PSA. If it's a numbered card, I would definitely not suggest doing it because they're going to give you the same grade.
Okay,
most
so
of the time.
According to, just like going back to what you said with the whole backlog, Nala's in a bit of a jam right now because he sent in something back in December and it just hit assembly today.
Oh, sorry, I just saw Adrian. And
I saw Adrian, so I had to stop.
Adrian, come back.
Yeah.
There goes the superstar.
We're trying here, Adrian.
But yeah, ultimately, like y'all.
Yeah, good point
like,
with what he's saying. I like where Nala said, feel its luck of the draw in order. Exactly. Why do we have to worry about we send in too many orders? Can't you just pick the one that is sent with the date on it? That's the oldest. That's not very hard to do.
I mean, it would be nice if we did a first come, first serve type deal.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. That's why it's not being done.
Yeah. And again, it's in a perfect world, we would like all these things done. But I think that having these challenges actually, now listen, I'm not trying to be this biased take for PSA at any grading company, but just think about this. Enfuego used to have Adrian look at the cards. Then he did his own order. Now, does that mean did they give him false hope, thinking like, man, I'm going to get an 80-90% gem rate all the time? Now he's got some speed bumps. Now he's a little bit more seasoned. He's come across some adversity. Well, that's going to teach him to either A, look harder, B, maybe get a second eye, maybe send back to Adrian. Maybe, Adrian, I'm going to send you these cards, look at them, and I'll still send them myself. It's an opportunity to learn and be better next time, but there is a price with all this. So just be cautious whatever you do and price everything out, because sometimes it's not worth grading. From a monetary standpoint, I got into the same conversation with Chris Sewell. We had a little back and forth, and he was pointing out, is it worth grading these cards? Why are people grading these cards? My reply was, what does it matter? Why are we so critical of what people grade? Who cares what we grade? Let me grade what I want to grade. I think that's the part that people forget, that this is a hobby and people can do what they want with their money.
Right. So, I mean, going back to what you said, if you like the whole aspect of grading incorporated into your hobby habits, by all means, do you.
Yeah.
You know,
what does the chat think on that?
As a financial means of making money out of it, or whatever the case may be, then you may want to step back and either A, take a time out, drink some water, change your socks, B, find another company, or 3, get a second or third set of eyes to look at it. Maybe they find something that you don't.
Yeah, especially on a card that's kind of expensive, or maybe costs a little more to grade, and maybe in that $40 to $50 grading range, versus the standard rate.
Because I mean, if you send a base Bobby, paper, and it comes back a 5 for whatever reason, are you really gonna lose your mind over that?
I don't think it's worth the energy and the time, because you know what your choices are after that.
Right.
It's pretty simple.
So, but it is what it is. Now, we know Whatnot right now, they have crosshairs on their platform for an abundance of reasons. The biggest one happening last week, which I'm not going to dive into. But
please don't.
They got some new shenanigans going on.
Don't get me started.
So, according Collectibles Guru, okay, he's kind of like the Neo, the striker of Twitter. Okay, everything that comes out fresh and new, he posts on X.
Yeah,
so basically, his caption is Whatnot. Watch has this Whatnot seller pretends to cut open packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but it's obvious they have already been opened. I'll let you all be the judge.
I laughed so hard. Somebody said Wi-Fi scissors. I was dying laughing. Somebody said Wi-Fi scissors. I'm like, oh my god, this stuff should be made into a movie. This is insane.
It should be. It's so sad.
I mean,
look at this. He touches with the scissors and it opens up.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Whatnot is the wild, wild west. I'll add one thing here. I was on, and actually, you know what? While we're live, let's just go ahead and just say who the seller was. And I just happened to be on. I want to check this out before I overreact to all of this nonsense that's going on, right?
Okay.
So I did post a screenshot of my home screen with my MLB, my Flickr account, and then to remove. And I posted this, and I just basically said, after all of this came about with the backyard breaks and everything, I just said, who else is deleting Whatnot? Am I going to go change what happens at a company? No, I have a small platform. And even if I had the largest platform, it wouldn't do anything, because they're going to do what they want ultimately.
Right.
But I said, let's just do the right thing here, and everybody try to post something, and that's great. So this seller right here, he has a pretty decent rating. It says 5.0. It says World Stars Fishing. And listen, this guy could be the best guy in the world. I'm not judging anybody but what I see.
However,
I was bidding on this, and this guy basically told me, listen, man, if you're in here to cause trouble, you could just leave. And I said, cause trouble. I've been in here bidding on the Guardians. And mind you, this guy has no idea that the number one pick in baseball is Travis Bazzana. And the cheapest way to get his autograph right now is in Bowman's Best. Because Bowman Draft, that team is very expensive. It's $400 plus in a case break for the Cleveland Guardians or Cleveland Indians. I bid 5 bids. And as you could see, it's up to $63 here. And I'm bidding and bidding and bidding. For 5 straight spins, the Guardians have already been taken. And he told me I was starting trouble in his chat room. The guy never took him off the wheel. I'm bidding thinking I'm trying to get the Indians, and everybody else is bidding. And I'm like, hey, guy. And here's my comment. Bro, what the deal? Is he reading the chat? And I even posted this, like, guy, I've been chatting, and he's ignoring me intentionally because I'm like, hey, someone's saying that the Guardians were already taken 5 spins ago. And he goes, oh, man, that's not true. He was going to come back, and he wanted it to be anything other than 5. If it would have been 4 and I was wrong, he would have been like, you're an idiot. You're so wrong. Quit causing trouble. He wanted to find a reason to tell me how wrong I was. And I'm like, dude, you're selling the number one team, and it's been gone off the wheel for 5 straight spins. And basically when I saw that, I'm thinking to myself, this whatnot, if I were to take that and go to them, what happens? Nothing. If they're letting guys do what they do with the backyard stuff, this isn't going to do anything. I just deleted it, and I said, that's it. Why waste my energy on this stuff? Go somewhere else where there's better, safer fun, safer groups, safer communities, safer ways to spend your money. This whatnot is the wild, wild west. It really is.
Anything goes.
This is true, which is why I'm going to go ahead and go with, but wait, there's more.
Oh, boy.
Here goes another controversy over whatnot. In this video, another whatnot user is seen opening a resale pack, which quickly raised concerns among buyers. The issue became apparent when one of the cards inside was found to have Sharpie writing on it. Tune in.
What?
What is that thing with the little butt right there? The little fashion figure?
I don't want to know.
Oh, this is Pokemon. Okay.
Better ask Jason about it.
Oh, there we go.
What?
Oh, somebody could have been wrote on it like they're playing a game with it or using actual.
Probably. But it's a resealed pack.
Okay. Yes, I don't know how the collation works. I don't know where those cards are supposed to fall.
Okay. So, I mean.
But how did that get in there?
That's a good question. But at the end of the day, you know, whatnot, I don't think they fully understand that they have crosshairs on their brand.
Nobody cares, though. That's the problem. These are all.
You're right.
These buyers are just so. Here's the thing. And I went on a couple pages where I was like, wow, you could tell who was selling out, and I was in their breaks and they were chatting, they knew their cards. And I'm not saying that everyone has to know the cards, but just be mindful of like what you're selling. Hey, give me a second. Let me look it up. Let me pull up the checklist. Someone's getting screwed there. You know, we're seasoned collectors, or most of us are, or we can lean on somebody that is. But there's a lot of people that are just getting completely hosed out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem I have with whatnot, I'm fine with everything. Like, people make mistakes. Like, look, this guy could have been drunk today. This guy could have been having a bad day. This guy could have just been not looking at the chat. And it was nothing egregious. It was nothing, you know, he wasn't trying to mislead anybody. He just screwed up. Right. And I left it at that. But let's just say he does screw up and he takes your $1,000 card. Whatnot will only give you the money you spent on that break. You get a $1,000 card that it was pulled. You never received it. You make a claim. They say, okay, well, you bought in the break for $100. Here's $100 and a $50 gift card. That's it. You have no leg to stand on. What are you gonna? How are you gonna argue with somebody? You bought something and you're saying it has this value. You never received it, and those videos have been out since Whatnot's been around. It's the wild, wild west.
It really is, but the whole sad story to this, the whole thing is Whatnot is really not doing anything to salvage this train wreck of a reputation that they're building. You don't see these issues with Lou. You have yet to see them with Fanatics Live. Not saying that they won't happen, but they're running a pretty tight ship thus far. It's just Whatnot is, and again, and I've mentioned this in the past.
Yep.
The only time that I was really into Whatnot, okay, was when Adrian actually did her Wednesday afternoon sales on Whatnot, where that was the highlight of my week. Okay.
Yeah, it had a seller platform to actually handle the transactions for you. It was great.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, ever since she packed up her basketball and went to another playground, I have no business on damn Whatnot, and I never did since then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody listening in the chat right now, and there may be, I'm just a blanket statement, which I don't like, but this time I think it's good. Most of us know better.
Right.
But we also feel for the people that don't know, because I'll say this, John Mangini, who I like, big vintage collector, they named him president for the hobby president. He was the one that got hobby president through sports card radio and everything. But Mangini made a comment and he posted something along the lines of, how did it go? It was basically, I feel some of the stuff is one direction. You have to look at everything from both sides of the coin. Not everybody's a modern collector, not everybody's a vintage collector, but regardless of the type of collector you are, whether it's I'm a pure collector, I'm just a collector, I'm just a flipper. These labels that we put on everything, I learned in recent years, it's best to not label everything. Just let it be. Well, I think
a duck and quacks like a duck. It's not a damn chicken.
Exactly. But why do we need to ask that question? Like we constantly, I think, beat that dead horse.
I mean, asking the question, that there's no point or rhyme or reason behind it.
Yeah.
You could just see it based off our actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we see it on YouTube religiously, just based off of thumbnails. I spent X amount of dollars at a card show. Okay. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Rage just pointed out a good comment. The problem with people in the breaking waiting room, whatever room it is, whatever type of business that surrounds cash like this or money like this, it's real hard for people to not come across some scumbaggery is what I always call it in my comments, scumbaggery, and it's out there, but you just have to be mindful of this stuff and do your research. No one's going to do it for you. And the best lesson you can learn is someone else's hard-earned lesson that they got, the short side of. It's all these videos are out there to help you. Yeah, I complain because it's a lot of this negative stuff. I'm always pointing out this or that, but it's to help new collectors. And let's go back one more time just to Mangini, then I'll finish my point. Mangini put up something where, how did he word this? I'll think of it in a minute. I'll find his recent post and I'll think of it. It was interesting. It was a good point because it revolved around. Oh, here's what it was. He posted a video where he played a little bit of music and he's just going through his phone. And I said, Mangini, did you get that idea from me? And I always joke with him back and forth.
Right.
And it was nothing to start up a feud or anything. But he basically said, let's just see what's on the internet and what people see. I said, Mangini, if you notice that when he did his, every other commercial had Pittsburgh stuff. Well, he's originally from Pittsburgh. He's a Pittsburgh fan. So that's where the commercials and the posts and the advertisements were. That's picking up your algorithm. It knows. I said, I say that all the time. Go to a party, go out with your friends, grab their wife's phone, anybody that knows nothing about sports cards, and grab their phone. And you don't have to have YouTube. Go to the internet, type in YouTube, sports cards, enter on Google. And you will be surprised what you get. You're not getting Enfuego. You're not getting Mike Rippin for Rookies. You're not getting the Junkies podcast. You're not getting any of that. You're getting nothing but the drama and the Jeff Wilsons and all those guys that have been proven with facts and videos and screen grabs of all this stuff that they don't know what they're talking about. And those are the biggest voices in the hobby. And that's what you have to be cautious of. So that's my long about point. But yeah, it was funny. He just brought that up. And I go, man, I swear I say that once a week. Like it's the new collectors I'm worried about. It's the new people that I'm like, man, these guys are just, off to a bad start as soon as they start getting into some of this stuff.
You know, and for those new people that quote got in a break or one of these platforms, to a certain degree, I do feel a little bad for them, but not enough to make a deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say
no,
that
you don't need to attack these people.
They should have done their due diligence and get with somebody who is a seasoned individual or happens to know a little more than they do and figure out, okay, look, I just ran into this app or I'm getting back into the hobby. What are some do's and don'ts I need to look out for?
Yeah, do a little homework.
They're not doing that.
I think you have to
they're
do
going in
homework on your
blindly,
own.
and then they get mad and want to quit after their first mishap.
Yeah. And I guess you can't listen. The internet's undefeated. We've talked about that many times. We always say that. And when we start to say things like what Beast brought up, where it's like, this is why X is ruined. This is why that's ruined. This is why all breaking sucks. This is why that sucks. All these different segments of the hobby. Those are just people making noise.
It doesn't affect.
They're focusing on the negative because they're going to get clicks. They're going to get views. They don't focus on the positive. I mean, there's a lot of great breakers out there that do stuff that spread information. I mean, like when I got back into this, you know, the one channel that I gravitated towards was Striker because he had information all the time in all of his breaks. He would tell you, hey, okay, I'm new. What should I look out for? What should I get into? And just watching him throughout the years, just being, you know, a positive influence and helping everybody getting back into cards. Right. You know, that's what they need to focus on. Not
I'm gonna
chaos theory all the time.
I'm gonna post a comment or grab a comment that somebody posted on something. We had a nice back and forth. I think it was only 2 or 3 messages, but he didn't end up sending anything the second or third time around. But I basically gave him a long list of all the reasons. Like, you don't realize how good the hobby is. That's all I was trying to point out. You know, and I know I go on at length, but the short sum is he doesn't realize how good the hobby is and how many good people are. Like, I can't wait for April. All these guys are coming from across the country to Strongsville for the vintage show. Now, granted, it's 15 to 17 minutes from my house. It's going to be fun. I don't have to travel far. But these guys are driving 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours. Some are flying.
Yeah.
To come to a show that is the size of an ice rink, a hockey rink. And the ice is gone, but the walls are up, and that's the inside of the show. And then there's going to be a trade night. They're getting pizza. They're going to have, you know, a bar right outside. It's a great time. It's a get together with all these different people. You don't even have to bring cards. You have to buy anything. Just come hang out with people. That's what the hobby's about. No one's there to say, oh, I can't believe this. No, they're like, what did you get? What did you get? Yeah. Oh, let me take a look at that. Can I see that? It's the exact opposite of what is on YouTube. And there's such a large segment of the collector base that is not on YouTube. You go to a show and people, hey, are you on YouTube? Just ask people. They're like, what? What do you mean YouTube? YouTube for what? What do you mean, what am I on YouTube? They really aren't. They're just not out there. A lot of people that go to shows and collect don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That is true. I mean, again, if you're new or you're wanting to get back into it, because at one point before we all got back into it, the hobby as is was pretty much a certain way. I guess you want to say it revolutionized to what we see today. Okay, just because the overall pie is, let's just say, gluten-free, if you will, your piece of the pie, being that hobby, doesn't have to change along with how the hobby is being handled outside of your area of comfort.
Yeah, and in this case, everybody dives in with a comment with you being YouTube, because listen, it's all a public platform. We're entitled to our opinions. They may not be good ones, but we all have them. I mean, I'm wrong all the time. So everyone's wrong. That's how you learn. The problem is a lot of people don't want to learn, and that's the scary part, where they're so hard-headed and they're not willing to take advice.
To admit that they're wrong.
Yeah, because that's like they're going to feel bad about themselves, or they're going to feel less of a person. I don't know what the reason is, but that's not my business. I just don't get why you have to stop learning after a certain point, like after 12th grade or high school, college. Like I want to learn something new every day. If you got something that's going to help me and save me money or make me money, please, I'll buy you a drink. Sit down. How do I pay you for your time? Like,
right.
I think we need more of that. And no matter what I say, you're never going to defeat the algorithm in YouTube.
No.
Let's just get our money together. Let's buy 1 million subscribers. Forget these guys like Jeff Wilson with 100,000. Let's get 1 million subscribers and let's knock them all down. let's get everything.
All right. So moving on from cars to some bigger and better items that are deemed collectible. And it looks like Pennsylvania is trying to get on the map of.
I read this. I did not like it at all. Considering what they did with the product to make the money, that made me sick to my stomach.
So you want to go ahead and run this by everybody, Mike? Since
I can't go.
I'm already aggravated. If Mike's mad, I'm mad. You think
I can't go through it again. Arnie, you're
here. I'm putting myself on mute. I can't.
Arnie, you're going to go crazy.
I'm going to go smoke real quick. I don't even smoke. Who's got?
You don't smoke, but you're going to after this. You're going to smoke something. That's for
this one's all you. This one's all you.
All right. So basically, there were 3 individuals that happened to be from the great state of Pennsylvania. And I think 2 of them are literally from Horsham.
We're not a state. We're a commonwealth, and they're not from Horsham. They're not from my area.
But 3 individuals were convicted in a burglary scheme that led to the destruction of, notice the names of items that they stole. Okay. So basically, they've been convicted for theft and destruction of historic sports, so on and so forth. A jury spent 3 days deliberating. I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah. Just
to hand down guilty verdicts. All right. And here's the names of the individuals. You got Nicholas Dombeck, Damian Boland, and Joseph Attis. Okay. All middle-aged men. Now, here's the items that in my mind stuck out to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who in baseball history has 10 World Series rings, chat?
I read the article. I know who.
Okay. All these items that you see here belong to Yogi Berra, and they were stolen from his museum in New Jersey. Now, on top of that, a Christy Mathewson jersey and 2 contracts signed by him were stolen in '99 out of Pennsylvania in a college. Then you got the 2 rings, which are worth $1 million, and they were stolen in 2014. 6 championship belts, 4 belonging to, I don't know who Carmen Basilio is, and I don't know who Tony Zale is. Don't care to know.
I think they're boxers.
Okay, they're from the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Hickok belt and an MVP trophy belonging to Roger Maris was stolen. An amateur trophy and Hickok belt awarded to Ben Hogan from golf. 14 trophies and other awards over $300,000 stolen in 20. So basically, where I'm getting at is this is not something that all happened at once.
Oh, no, they targeted for years.
Okay. I mean, I think based off of what I see here, it goes back as early as 2011.
Yeah.
Where these 11 trophies were stolen out of Scranton country. But that's the belt from Ray Hickok's son. All right. And it's insane. And this goes back to my argument. You know, it's little instances like this. It's supposed to be a hobby, but yet you've got that 10% who get themselves involved in what the vast majority of us enjoy and stain it, for a lack of better terms, with stuff like this. You know, I mean, what is everybody's thoughts about this? And I'm going to go ahead and put this article in the chat too, so you can go ahead and get time to actually read it.
This is the thing, Enfuego. You didn't say what they did with this product. They melted it down.
I try to avoid that.
They
because
melted
it hurt
it down
just reading it.
for scrap metal to sell it, to make money off of it. Because you can't resell it. There's only one of those, those rings. There's only one. They're going to know what it is. But to take something like that, that it's valuable, it's priceless, and melt it down for a couple of $100.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me.
The conspirators would then sell the raw metals to fences in the New York City area for hundreds or a few $1,000s, significantly less than the actual value of the items.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you are a sports collectible memorabilia enthusiast, and you don't have a collection that in your mind is not worthy of mentioning, whatever the case may be, why would you take something this, I mean, kind of like what you said, there, you really cannot put, although they did it with Yogi's rings, you really can't put a dollar figure to, this is history.
It's history. It's like an antique. It's like a relic. It's something that it's priceless what it comes down to. And they melted it down and sold it for a few dollars.
Yeah. And according to this, they did find forensic evidence, which led to a break in the case, and an arrest was made in 2023. So I'm glad these guys got caught. I'm glad that they're being held accountable.
Read the bottom of the article about the boxer's, I think it's son or grandson said something.
Let me see here. If my uncle was around, you know what he'd be doing with each one of them individually, Ted Zale told news media. He would say, "Good morning. How do you like a nice right to the ribs?"
Exactly. I would do more than that.
I appreciate the news network allowing that, because that's what you need more of.
That's what you need. Yeah. You need something like that, in there, but still it's disgusting. It
wasn't a museum. They stole it from the college.
Multiple places, Arnie. Yeah. They had it targeted for years.
I mean, and we're not just talking average Joe memorabilia either. I mean, Christy Mathewson, Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Legends, people that we look up to.
Yeah.
I mean, it should affect everybody that's in the card community and the collecting community that's a fan of baseball, for God's sakes. Even if you were a fan of that team or player or not.
And what's sad is that those didn't go to Cooperstown. They went to a place where he went to college, and that's like they have a chance to display something, to be known for something and get recognition, and then it's gone.
Well, here's a caveat to that though, Arnie. Yogi Berra in his
he's got the most rings anyway. He's got enough.
He has his own museum.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where there's but he has more than just his stuff there. It's baseball.
Right. He's got a variety of stuff, but for some reason his rings and 2 MVP plaques were targeted by these three guys.
It was probably the least, whatever. I'm just guessing, maybe the least secure or off to the side where no cameras, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's what they were looking for, Arnie.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
absolutely.
Hopefully,
they took all of his rings. Is that
all
true?
10 rings?
Oh my God, these people should be. Never mind.
They
I'm
took
going back
10
on
rings
mute.
and 2 of his MVP plaques.
I'm on mute. Let me know when the next topic hits. I can't. I can't do this. We'll get shut off. We'll get turned off.
Oh, I know, Arnie. I'm holding it back.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree. It's beyond sickening, but yet, society has this tendency of focusing on something here and now, and then in due time it goes away without anything made, or people taking the hobby, what's supposed to be a hobby, because that's how I'm still going to look at it as, and trying to make a living out of stealing. Makes no sense to me anymore. But I mean, the bad part about this is I'm pretty sure those locations that had these items stolen from are left with having to result the replicas, which, yeah, I mean, technically it's kind of like the same thing, but it won't hold that historic value to it. And that's the worst part of it all, because if you look at Cooperstown, everything is authentic, everything is original. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they got some form of security during closing hours.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike Petty just jumped. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
Burbank's Cards was broken into Wednesday. That's pretty crazy. That's a huge card shop.
Oh, yeah.
Their warehouse is bigger than their card shop, but in the back, you know what I mean?
As a matter of fact, they just opened up a new location. Was that the place that was broken
No,
into, Mike?
I wonder if that was the place, but I think that place is not open yet. They're looking at like April, I think is the date. Like they have it's not roughed in yet, but the space is there.
Okay.
So I think April is their target date, end of April, mid-April. But
right.
Was that the location that they had stuff working and got broken into, or was this the original one that's open now, or it's been open, their current location?
Interesting.
Because that place is yeah, that's.
But we're gonna move on to some baseball. Try to lighten up the mood a little bit. So, do y'all remember this whole shenanigans with Shohei Ohtani's original translator and the nonsense he got himself into?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got accountability was upheld for him. 57 months in prison. Okay.
Like to see it.
But here's the only issue that I foresee. He owes Ohtani $17 million in restitution.
That's never coming back.
That's not going to happen.
Well, most of these cases, they don't get the money back. But the good news is he's going to jail, and it's public out there. And yeah.
I think he's on top of Ohtani's personal servant now to make up for $17 million, like that Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, that's right.
He's my butler.
Now, on top of that, upon his release, he is going to be slapped with 3 years of supervised conditions too.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah. So basically what we got here is in March of 2024, reports emerged that millions of dollars have been wired from an account in Ohtani's name to an illegal gambling ring. Mizuhara initially said that Ohtani agreed to the transfer in order to help him with gambling debts. Ohtani's attorneys provided an alternative narrative, and basically the latest that was reported was this guy actually was on the phone making transactions in Ohtani's voice. You know, so I mean, I will say though, Ohtani is becoming he did tap into his inner pettiness. Whatever cards were actually obtained from this guy's transaction, he says, you know what? Those are my cards now. I want them back.
Now, did he turn those over? That's another thing.
They were repossessed by law enforcement.
That's great. That's awesome.
So now Ohtani has become a collector by proxy. So I mean, it's good to see that he's being held accountable for his actions. Do I agree with 57 months? That's up against the wall. But he's got over 4 years to figure out what's he going to do with himself when he gets out.
If you don't mind, I want to add one thing on top of that to maybe see what the chat thinks. With that being said, with all the nonsense that we talked about, maybe this could be a topic. We'll just briefly touch on it, but maybe something to think about between now and next Monday. Regulation in the hobby. Because simply, scumbags are afraid of it. Good people are not. I could care less. You want to come look in my sock drawer, my underwear drawer? Go ahead. I got nothing to hide. You know what I mean? So at this point, if it would do X, Y, and Z to get rid of the scumbags and shine a better light on all the good people in the hobby and make a safer place to spend your money, I'm all for it. Now, I understand as soon as I said that, there's going to be a ton of people in the chat could say X, Y, and Z, this and that, this and that. Those are all great points. Bring them on. But that's something that I just think about where CC is going into the Hall of Fame as a Yankee. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all, Alan. Good for him. It's his choice. He earned that right, but he was great for Cleveland, and he's great for baseball. And recovering alcoholic. I mean, the guy turned his life around. He was down a path that was not good, and hard to hate on CC. I think he's a good guy, and he still comes to the Cleveland events and stuff like that. So even though he's having the Hall of Fame cap as a Yankee, he's still part of the stuff he does with Cleveland. So I think he's good for baseball, and yeah.
Arnie, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Everybody's so focused on the negative all the time that I'm
tired of all the stories and nothing happens.
It really gets you down, thinking about it.
Dan the Card Man posted today, and then people started coming after me, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, whoa, guys, this is another problem. Arnie? Well, I didn't piss off anybody. I said a comment.
No, because Arnie tells it like it is, and people don't like it. And that's what it comes down to.
Guy came at me, and he said, well, Dan's doing his best he can. And he came at me like I didn't know who Dan was. Now, it's not his fault, but he's lazy. What he doesn't know is that I called out Jeff on every single platform. I called out Jeff on all the stuff that I post. I called out Jeff on the videos for the what is it called? The two guys that are on together. I keep forgetting their names. Help me out here. The two guys that are on Blabbing about Slabbing. Yeah, those guys. And then the show they do with Filmington and those guys. And I posted it was something about being a clown. I posted on their channel. I go, Jeff is the ultimate clown. He got pushed back after X, Y, and Z, the quote unquote soft reply. It's okay. I hope they do better next time. He seems like a nice guy. And then you move on. Then the whole community in the card world roasted him on every single platform, saying anyone that didn't say this is absolutely disgusting within 2 seconds of hearing it is a scumbag. And Jeff fell right under that, because now he's talking it back, walking it back. And then he brings on that girl that's on MLB Network or whatever her name is. I can't think of her name. And then they do this whole like scripted video, and all you do is watch Jeff look to the side at the teleprompter and look to the side at the teleprompter. It's disturbing. The guy is so fake. And my whole comment was, the next scandal is going to break out in 24 hours. And today on Dan the Cardman's channel, it was the PSA not appropriately delivering the news. They just made the change. Then someone else discovered the change of the 60-40 to 55-45. So what we found is, I just commented, I said, and just like that, my comment was, and just like that, the Backyard Breaks scam or scandal blows over, and we're on to the next one. Mm-hmm. So you can go right there and you could see my comment and see what I'm on there. He doesn't get a lot of comments. The guy's got 1,100 views in 8 hours. My comment's going to be right on there if you want to pull it up. But some guy kind of was like, he didn't come at me. He was just saying like, hey, we're doing our part. But what he doesn't know is that I'm probably, out of all these people in this chat, I did the absolute most, because I have nothing to lose. You can't come at me with anything. And then read the replies. Just like that, the backyard story gets buried. I certainly haven't forgotten and won't stop covering. I says, Dan, covering is the key word. It's done over and over. Nothing people could do at this point. Whatnot is cranking out cash, and so many in the hobby on YouTube that posted content, and it didn't help. Bring on regulation, as myself and other good people have nothing to hide and nothing to worry about. I welcome it. Overreach of regulation cannot be worse than what's going on today, period. I agree with Orlando 100%. I'm on Team Orlando, where he said overreach, they could step a little too far with regulation. I agree with that. But that's got to outweigh what the hell's happening here. And then this is the guy that commented. And again, this guy, Joe
Jesse.
So could be a great person. I'm not knocking what he's saying. What he doesn't realize is, though, if you click on my name, you'll see all of my comments and all of my trying. I actually tagged all the biggest channels that I follow with 5 to 100,000 followers. Please post a comment on this Backyard Break stuff. Please post something. It'll be on my community post on my channel. And that guy doesn't take the time. He just rather come at me and say, well, Dan's doing the best he can, and he's making it known. And then I'm not going to spend any more time on it, like trying to educate this one person that's lazy and doesn't know anything what we do. It's just bring on the regulation. I'm tired of all of this crap, because there's so many good collectors out here that get no recognition.
And it's funny that we talked about, we're bringing up the whole thing about regulating the hobby. There's been a lot of people that are dreading the point where the government will end up regulating the hobby.
See, a lot of people are against that. And listen, I'm against it too, but I'm also looking at the bigger picture here. At what point do we have to
get it regulated
what is it going to take?
Not regulated, but in some way, there's got to be some kind of somebody to say something to stop the shenanigans that are going on. It's
just disgusting. Some of it is just it's just bad. Like, I don't know. Here's what it's doing. I stayed off the internet for a long time. I'm sure Mike did, Enfuego did. Everybody in this chat stayed off the internet in terms of card collecting and sharing their collection in whatever form. It's tough to deal with all this and then still have the same taste in your mouth, meaning not have a sour taste, not get turned off by this or not want to do that anymore. If you guys know me, I give away a lot of stuff. I haven't done a free giveaway since January 1. I've given away stuff if you buy in.
Yeah.
But it's not anybody particular. There's people that get stuff from me all the time, and I don't need to explain it. I don't need to do it. I don't need to be praised. I don't need to have the camera and give the guy on the corner of the highway $1 and have a camera in his face.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at with the hobby. I'm not going to, as much as I get worked up, I'm not going to let it ruin the good people I want to take care of. Yeah. I just don't need to tell you about it anymore.
Right.
So I just stopped making it public,
I think every channel goes through something like that when they're doing a giveaway or something like that. It's like people that you never heard of just flock to your channel. They just they'll wake up in the morning and hit hashtag giveaway and see how many giveaways are going on. And that's what they do all day. They just jump around from channel to channel, see how many giveaways and free stuff and all that other stuff. And some people are just so blatant that they come in your chat. Hey, what are you giving away tonight? I'm just like, no, gone. It's just like, okay, you know what? I do it for the people that support my channel, not people that come in
and I think that
randomly.
It
is frustrating, but unfortunately it's part of the deal. And there are times that I have stopped. There are times that I thought I'm just going to get rid of my channel or anything like that. But it's not fair to me because this is what I enjoy.
And I'll vent in the group chat. I'll vent and I'm like, okay, I'm calmed down now. I'm good. But I have to get it off your chest because Rage, who I recognize him, but I don't think he's been in here much, but I recognize this Rage from other, comment sections. And it is funny because he says, hey, I commented, I commend you from this, blah, blah, blah. You've seen me giving hell in the comments as well over the years. And I have. And I recognize names and I remember names, but I also said, I agree, Rage. Speak your mind, even if I or anyone else doesn't agree. Like, that's the whole beauty of this. Like, why do we get so worked up and pissed off about someone else's opinion? Now, try to turn that into, hey, this is my opinion. You're wrong, but let me explain why you're wrong. And here's the reason I know you're wrong, because I have this information that may help you. Instead, it's like, you're an idiot. You're wrong. You don't know what the F you're talking about, or STFU, shut the F up in the thing. And it's like, guys, it's not that serious. Why don't you just give the guy the information and help him? Okay, you won. You got, what do you get, a prize? Like, it's almost, we have this, this urge to be right on the internet. We're just grasping to be commended for being right. And
here's the thing. Everybody says, well, you're at 1,000 subscribers. You should be monetized by now. I said, no. I said, I don't ever want to be monetized.
And there's no, listen, make as much money as you can.
When I get close, I shut down.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to those 4,000 hours.
And even if
3,000 hours, whatever it is.
And even if you do, Mike, there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, I commend anybody that makes money off the hobby. Do whatever you want. Just be honest. If you're making 100 grand a week, I don't care. Just be honest. That's all I ask.
I look at it this way. It's just one more layer that I have on top of me, and I don't need another layer.
Well, I just think that I think that what people want is transparency.
Right.
And if it's not, just be truthful, because when you're putting your money up, I just want my money in at the right time and let me do what I want with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get screwed. I don't want to see a story come out in 3 months that I've been buying X, Y, and Z and it's been fake the whole time. And I don't know. I guess, I'm all fine with people making money. I don't think that's what the discussion is. I think that when I talk about regulation, I'm talking about no building wheels into your own platform. I'm not singling out anybody, but Everybody uses the same platform. I use random.org with a paid membership. You can get the certification number every time I do one. Stop the screen. There's a number, like a serial number. You can actually take that serial number and go back and type it into your own random.org, and you can watch that. You can see the results. That these people that have it all built into their platform with all their randoms, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they could be built a certain way, and that is a 101% fact.
Yeah.
So I choose not to have one built into my site. Even if some tech guy said, I'll do it for free, I'll say, go away.
Yeah.
Because, and it's not that I don't trust them, because I get into people's breaks that use them, and I've gotten good teams. I'm just saying that when it comes to regulation, if they asked us to do one thing, it would be very easy, uniform, in a uniform way. Like every breaker has to do this. No problem. Just change it. We're going to use this for our randoms.
It's never going to happen, Beast. I don't want to follow those footsteps. Christ, I'd be on my third wife by now.
I mean, here's the way I look at it. My channel's been monetized for just under a year.
Good. Make all the money you can. I'm with you. I'll promote you, and I hope you make a killing.
I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to turn down free money.
No, absolutely not. And here's the thing. Good for everybody that's putting in the work and seeing some results. I just think that the regulation, maybe we'll have to make it a topic and have like maybe 5 talking points. What are the pros and cons? I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but I just don't feel that it outweighs like this stuff that we're up against now. Like, what are you going to do at the National? Whoever's going to the National, is Backyard Breaks going to show their face? Parents are going to be walking through there. There's kids walking through there. There's pictures with people posting on their socials with those guys posing next to those guys. They walk up to them. Hey, can I get your autograph? I mean, Jab signs autographs, Striker Breaks, all these guys. Kids watch them and they look up to them.
I want a Jab's autograph.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good point if you want to highlight Magnus here. But at the same time, that's very true. We are in control of what we do.
We are in control. Yeah.
I do not want to have to change what I'm doing that's positive around all these good people because of these scumbags. That's why I'm saying bring on regulation. That's where I get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. So, I mean, moral of the story is how the hobby is what you make of it.
Truth.
Okay. Don't follow the trend or the flavor of the week or the flavor of the month. How the hobby is being is displaying itself outside of the comforts of your own home or where you go to enjoy the hobby, whether it be in your house, your local LCS, where you've been a regular there since the beginning of time. If you got a set rhythm on how you do things in the hobby that make you happy, that put that smile on your face, keep doing it. Who cares what other people do? If Jason is all about, buying up every Canadian card out of America and bringing it back home to where it belongs, per se,
life goals.
Let him be.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I have no reasons for wanting cards from damn Toronto. Why the hell would I want that for? I got enough trash in the house as it is. And I'm just telling it like it is. But
I think as the hobby the hobby evolves, I think your collecting mentality changes. And mine has changed from the time I got back into it in 2020 to now, where I just narrowed it down to this is what I'm going after. And this is what is going to be enjoyable for me. This is my chase. This is what I want. And it puts a whole new perspective on the hobby and collecting. You don't have to go like when Fuego said, what's the new flavor of the month? Because it's like this new hot rookie just came out. Well, guess what? There's already 50,000 people that are buying up his cards.
Yeah, zig and zag.
Price and just back off.
Take it a different direction.
Exactly.
I've been finding that there's, hey, we're gonna break this, or we're gonna open this, or I'm gonna do this box on my channel because I'm thinking to myself, man, I can get a box of 2002 Fleer for $100 and relive some really good memories from about 20-ish years ago. And when I'm done with this, there'll be plenty of Series 1 still there, or Series 2, or update, or whatever it is that's hot right now. So yeah,
that's the way to do it.
I think there's always a way to go to a different direction.
Yeah.
He gets
no, basically Ray is saying that he's been going to the same guy, burning up money, holes in his pockets for the last 10 years.
And good for you and good for him, because he's obviously he knows how to retain a customer and probably treat his. It's not just you though; he's probably treating other people the same way, which is good to hear.
It's good for business.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, now that we all can breathe, what else do we have? We only have one
last thing, and it's real brief. So the Mets have re-signed the polar bear.
Okay, good for the Mets.
Yeah,
what took them so long? What were they?
He was probably waiting for the offer from the Dodgers to see what that was going to be.
I mean,
the Dodgers only have 50 players on their roster now.
We just signed Kiki Hernandez back again.
No,
yeah,
that guy leaves that team and comes back more than most people move in a whole lifetime.
Like the prodigal son has returned for a third time.
Pretty much. But yeah, that's awesome for him. It was very concerning to see a name like Pete Alonso still on the open market, and nobody capitalized on it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's not necessarily his fault. A lot of times it's just, hey, these chips fell before you can get your deal done, and it cost you a little bit.
Yeah.
And other teams just don't need it anymore. I mean, Cleveland got younger. We got rid of a guy that was injury prone, but I still love Josh Naylor. But we got Kyle Manzardo that can play first base if we need to, and he's one of the better prospects of 2022's draft class. So
what were the details of the deal? Was it a 1 year?
2 year.
A 2 year
with a 10-year signing bonus, big chunk of money on year one. Year two was like $15 million, but there was a $10 million signing bonus, so it comes out to like 56,000 or 56 million. Okay. Same with Bregman. Yeah, Sean, good point. Same with Bregman. Here's a guy. He found out nobody wanted him with the big contract. That's exactly that could be part of it. We don't know, but
I don't know. I don't know about these long-term deals anymore with players. I think your elite players are going to get the long-term deals, but Alonso, is he an elite player? I'd say he's in the next tier down. Mm-hmm. Or are people going?
He's also at a position though where if you can get that kind of production out of the first baseman, and that's the spot you need to fill, yes, then he is a premium player. He's up there in the top. But if you're looking at it like what you just said, Mike, I agree. He's just right below that overall offensive performance. Because with the universal DH, I think it does increase his value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I think that increased a lot of players' values.
Right. Yeah. So wait a second. We just got a new post up here from Mr. Enfuego. If anybody wants to check out that.
Alan basically asked, how is the Dodgers going to pay all the deferred money when it comes due? And this is the only thing that I could think of.
Yeah, that's probably
what? That could be active. You might not want to. Yeah, you might not want to type that in if it's a work phone. Just don't put that in there.
Do not type that in.
It may not be good. All right, guys. Can one of you guys seriously do it, though? I want to know.
But so what is it? I think pitchers and catchers they report when?
2 weeks, I think.
About 2 weeks, right?
I think it's under 2 weeks. Now the Phillies truck already left for spring training. Like they left last week. I think it's a little bit earlier. It's usually right around Series 1 come out and Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so let's
find that out. I think we're lacking on that information. Cubs started today.
Whoa, Cubs started today. Wow. Oh, that's right, because they're doing they're jumping off the season in what country is that? They're doing the international game.
Doing a game with the Dodgers, I believe.
I don't know who they're playing. Where are they playing? But it's an international game, and that's why the Cubs started first.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone will be starting by the end of the week. That's what I thought.
Tokyo.
February 12th is the first game of the Cactus League.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Nice. Hey, Dom.
And then the Grapefruit League, same day.
Okay. Yeah, so it's firing up. Let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah, Series 1, bring on the millions of cards. I don't care. I want to bust a box and watch some spring training, even if it's for one at bat for the first week or so with the Stars. But this is a chance to watch the young guys that we've been buying and getting into and watching Bowman breaks, participating in some breaks. Who's this guy? All of a sudden, oh, that's who this guy is. So I think that's I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, another great episode we had today. You know, there was some real sensitive topics that, you know, kind of made the blood pressure raise just a little bit.
That's fine. I'm good with it.
You know,
now the blood pressure's down and it's lower than it was before. So we got it out.
It's sad with what we see that's going on in the hobby, but as it's been mentioned many a times, do not let what happens on the outside of your part of the hobby interfere with the inside part of your hobby.
Yeah, let me add one more thing. I know I keep adding things, but if you have a channel, you don't have to buy cards to make content. Do a short, show off a favorite card. Hey, I just picked this up. Hey, I just got that. Whatever it is, just put something out there. Keep pumping it out.
All right. I mean, again, it's only going to be as crappy or as exciting as you allow it to be. If you hate the hobby as an overall experience, then you're not going to like the hobby, even with your own personal touch to it. But if you take the good out of the bad and incorporate it into your habits, no issues at all. All right.
Very good.
So
very good.
Good topics. Yeah. On that note, Mike, is there anything that you got going on coming up?
I really don't have anything going on. I am looking into some possible break material. It's going to be a little bit of money out of my pocket. I know I'll get it back, but right now I just trying to navigate the stream. I'd like to give a shout out to Adam's Card Closet with 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Yeah, well done and well deserved and long overdue for what
took him long enough
does and part of the card community. Congratulations to Adam. Yeah. Give a shout out to
there was someone else that hit 500, I think. I couldn't remember who it was, but someone got 500 recently. They were at 497 or 498 for a while, and they finally got there.
And this is what we need to do. We need to grow our card community. You know,
just share anytime you guys can. Absolutely, it does help everybody. Yep. And here's another thing too, guys. I will add to this that I've been just slowly catching things. You know, as I dive more into the YouTube world. I still follow back people, even if you don't have a channel. You have a channel, but you don't make content. You'll see somebody follow you that has like 10 subscribers. Follow them back. It's just an easier way to engage because when you guys both follow each other, it's easier to click on their name and go right to their channel, and you guys can actually just connect, you know, in a quicker way. So I think that's always helpful. A lot of times we only do it because, I'll sub your channel if you sub mine. Just they don't have to have a channel. Just sub back.
Congratulations, Alan.
Alan,
yeah, 400.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice milestone.
Nala Bear just got to
there you go.
500, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and Gradeworthy got to 400. Yep.
And awesome. The other thing I want to do is give a shout out to Box Score Collectibles. They were on 2 weeks ago and dropped a link to their website. They sell repack boxes and prospect packs. So I got the Through the Decades box for $25. And I got a Rookies and Prospects pack for $5, so it was $30. I did a video on it, and I'm telling you right now, it's probably one of the best repacks out there. And the thing is, you can pick your team, so all the cards are going to be for your team. And I was pleasantly surprised with the repack box that not only were there 37 cards in there of Phillies cards, rookies, prospects. I got a Mike Schmidt relic out of there, a numbered card out of there. There was also 5 packs, one from the 2020s, 2010s, 2000s, 1990s, and 1980s. So that was a pleasant surprise. So go check them out at Box Score Collectibles. Let's see. Let me go to my YouTube channel, and I will drop their link there. So support them. Great product. And it's actually boxscorecollectibles.com. It's very easy. You should have known that. Oh, there you go. Enfuego's already got it up there. Yeah. So that, and there is a video on my channel about it, breaks it all down and all that other stuff. And yeah, go check them out. Good guys over there.
They even got a break advertised.
Yeah, they do breaks. They do like a break.
He's got an overview too. He's got an overview on the release product too. So that's cool.
A lot of information on there. They do a lot of good stuff over on their website, also on their YouTube channel. So go check those guys out. I'd like to try to get them on one of our podcasts. Hopefully, one of the guys.
That'll work.
Yeah, and just get a perspective, get their perspective, because they do a lot of card shows. We don't do card shows here. You know, they do card shows all the time. They'll do like 4 or 5 a month. You know, so we can get a little insight on what the card show business is like.
Yep. All right. Well, we know Arnie has his online LCS kicking off this Friday, but do you have anything in between?
Yeah. So I'll have. Here's what I'm thinking for Series 1. I'm not going to mix it with any product. I'm just going to do probably a half a case jumbo and a half a case hobby as one break, because depending on the prices, I may do something bigger and go one full case of each with mixed base, obviously. And then it'll be a nice starter set for everybody to get going towards the people that want to build sets. And you'll still get all your good cards and all your rookies and all the key players, but the regular base cards, that will be just a mixed lot. So you can have a nice variety to get yourself started if you're into set building. So I think that's kind of where we're at with that product. But at the very least, I'll do half a case of each in a break, and then at least a case and a half or so in the store of each product for the hobby. Don't know what I'm going to do with retail just yet, because I think I want to focus on hobby at first, and then, you know, if stuff becomes available, like Mike said, we'll have to find the prices have to matter, because, you know, sometimes you got to spend a lot to get a better deal, and maybe we'll do a group buy or something. There's
actually some product that I was looking at, Arnie, at 2023 series or low number heritage. You can get a case of that for like $550.
It's great. And honestly,
it is great. The checklist is amazing in there.
You could still get some Hall of Fame autos out of there that could pay for the case. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So don't shy away from
look at the old stuff. Yeah, look at the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
I see a lot of comments in the chat where people are saying how they're reaching milestones, and God, I don't even know if Corey's posted any content, but he's got 111 subscribers now, and
there you go.
Corey just recently joined, you know, the community within the past year and been active and buying into breaks and hanging out all the time, and yeah, it's great to see all these different people with all these different sub counts and spread that good work.
There you go. All right, well, that's gonna be it for this week. Next week we'll come up with something a little more I mean, not saying that today's episode wasn't interactive. I think it actually was.
I think it was we didn't have a lot of interactive stuff in there, but the chat was popping, so that
there
was
you
good.
Go. And that's ultimately going to be the goal, because again, it's most effective if we basically converse on both sides, instead of hearing three amigos running their mouths and Arnie just going off just because.
Yeah. I need a drink. I'm going to start drinking at 6:15. By 7:20, 7:30, I'll be dialed in.
There you go.
All right. So with all
beer
that,
an hour on here.
You know, we will catch everybody along the YouTube algorithm. Hope everybody has a great week.
Yep. Have a great one, guys.